Here are 25 heartwarming and fair play moments in football. For example, when a footballer saved the opponent's life or when Ronaldo took care of a young fan in a really touching way. But first, let's look at a scene from 2023. Fulham captain Tim Ream with this young fan, and since she is autistic and very sensitive to noise, she wore headphones and told Tim that she was afraid people would laugh at her because of the headphones. And what did Tim do? He put on headphones as well. What a classy gesture. And that was just the beginning. For our number 24, we moved to the Bundesliga, the last game of the 2021 season, and it was a special one, not for a player, but for the referee Manuel Greve. He was ending his career. And what did Haaland do?
It's also goodbye to referee Manuel Greve after 17 years.
He asked him if they could exchange jerseys. A great gesture from the then 21-year-old. Then there were a few more pictures and the farewell of a legendary referee in Germany. Now to a great fair play moment from a player who caused quite a stir in the 90s and the early 2000s, Di Canio. He shoved the referee, for example, and showed us some questionable celebrations. However, this scene was very fair from him. Everton's goalkeeper Paul Gerrard got injured while making a save and was laying on the field, and Di Canio's teammate didn't care and crossed the ball to the middle. But instead of heading the ball into the empty goal, Di Canio caught it so that the goalkeeper could receive treatment, and that earned him a standing ovation.
The whole crowd right.
Being a fan and walking onto the field with the stars is a special experience, especially if you're lucky enough to walk on with Mbappé, Messi or Ronaldo. In a friendly match shortly before the 2024 European Championship, Ronaldo, without hesitation, sweetly took care of this little girl.
They played in 20 years ago.
And when she didn't know where to go, Ronaldo and Pepe helped guide her. A really beautiful moment before the game. In football, there's often no room for kindness, especially during the tough grind of the season. But what Aaron Hunt did here was really extraordinary. Hunt went down on the field and the referee called a penalty, which the Nuremberg players couldn't believe. But Hunt showed that nothing is more important than fairness. He went to the referee and said no, it wasn't a foul, and the referee reversed the decision.
No, it wasn't a penalty.
A great fair play moment. But wait for our number 2, because what the player did there was one of the best fair play moments I've ever seen. But first, our number 20, a moment in the Dutch league. A player kicked the ball away and ran into the camera, and the camera fell over. And Ali Reza came to help the camera woman set it back up, and it looked pretty heavy, and he also checked to see if the camera woman was okay. What do we learn from this, guys? It costs nothing to be a good person. And yes, of course, I also like it when my favorite club wins and scores a goal. But there are more important things, and these scenes from Greece show that too, as PAOK Saloniki wanted to give a blind fan a very special moment. And you can see how special this was for him. Fireworks. They can look nice. However, what these Dutch fans did was not okay. They set off fireworks right in front of a 13-year-old ball boy who then ran scared onto the field. Luckily, this player took care of him. And now, on to Dortmund. A player who gave everything for the club was Neven Subotic. He helped Dortmund win the Bundesliga twice and the German Cup once. In 2017, he left the club with which he had achieved so much, but when he returned as an opponent, there was a goosebump moment.
Und wie viele so empfangen werden. Ich glaube, das kann ich mich zu einem der glücklichsten Menschen auf jeden Fall zählen.
If you make it as a professional footballer and are called up for the national team, you of course want to play. But there can only be one goalkeeper. And for years, that was Oliver Kahn for Germany. Since 1998, he was a fixture. And from 2002, he was captain of the national team. But in 2004, there was a new national coach, Jürgen Klinsmann. And suddenly Kahn was no longer the first choice. Instead, he was in competition with Arsenal's goalkeeper Jens Lehmann. And then shortly before the 2006 World Cup in their own country, the decision was made. Jens Lehmann would be number 1. And how would Kahn react? Would he retire? No. He sat on the bench as his second goalkeeper. Germany, cheered on by the fans, went all the way to the quarterfinals against Argentina, and it went to penalties. And there was this really beautiful moment between the two rivals who didn't get along well at the time.
Hat dir das geholfen, die Konkurrenz zu Jens?
Ja, der Jens hat es ja gerade gesagt, das ist schon wichtig, weil man sich gegenseitig immer einen Tick hochzieht.
And hey, Jens didn't do so badly.
Advantage Germany.
We all make mistakes, but many people don't like to admit them. Not Fulham's goalkeeper Leno though. He played for Fulham against Bournemouth in 2023, but things didn't go well. They were 0-1 down, and then there was a penalty.
Takes a little shuffle run. Well, he's made
The fans celebrated, and even the ball boy cheered. So Leno wasn't having the best day. He wanted the ball, but the ball boy didn't make any move to throw it to him.
What not to do when you're playing away from home.
Leno pushed the boy. The fans were angry, the opponents were angry, because hey, you just don't do that. And Leno, he realized it was a mistake, so fair play. He apologized to the boy and the fans. That's how it should be. Napoli's player Anguissa also took out his frustration on a ball boy, but he quickly realized that this was a mistake. Now, to a really great moment in Barcelona. Ronaldinho defined an era there, but in 2008 he left the club for Milan. In 2010, AC Milan played a friendly tournament against Barcelona, and Barcelona won the game. But then there was a really great gesture from Captain Puyol. He accepted the trophy, but then called for Ronaldinho, who, visibly perplexed, took the trophy and posed for pictures with the Barca team. Football in Spain. That means sunshine and warm weather, but not always. In January 2024, Madrid played against Argentina in the Copa del Rey. It was raining and it was cold. And when Bellingham saw this ball boy freezing on the sidelines, he did this. We're almost at our top moments, but first, our number 11, a moment between Ronaldo and perhaps the most important mentor in his life, Cristiano Ronaldo. What a career he already shown at a young age on the football field, but privately it wasn't always easy for him. His father was an alcoholic and passed away when he was just 20 years old. And at the time he was playing for Manchester United, and there was a man who supported him, both on the football side and also privately, Sir Alex Ferguson, who was like a father figure to Ronaldo. And when Ronaldo won the European Championship in 2016, this beautiful moment when Sir Alex patiently waited for Ronaldo, who was visibly overjoyed.
As I said before, many of times, he was like a father for me in football. You give me many opportunities, you teach me many things.
And now to a moment that caused a lot of anger. We're at the Scottish Cup. The Rangers played against Partick Thistle. It was 1-1. And then the Rangers player Tillman got injured. The ball was played out. Partick wanted to return the ball, but Tillman attacked and scored.
Clean through, round the goalkeeper, and can finish.
And Partick Thistle was furious.
Thistle are absolutely furious.
And what did the Rangers coach do? He said, hey, fair play. Let them score a goal.
For allowing that.
It wasn't as well played by Alan McGregor. That's breaking his
A
heart.
truly fair gesture in a very important game, which the Rangers still won in the end. Our number 9 was a really sweet moment during a legend match between Liverpool and AC Milan.
Straight, trying to help it on its way towards Dudek.
Goalkeeper Dudek took time during the game to play a few balls with a fan. A moment this guy will never forget. Just like the Germans will never forget Miro Klose. He stood out not only for his goals, but also for his fair play, like here in the match against Bielefeld. The referee awarded a penalty. Bremen was already preparing to take the ball, but then a word with Klose, who said, hey, I wasn't fouled, and thus the ref decided for a referee ball. A really great gesture from him, and it wasn't the only one we're gonna see. But before we get to that, let's turn to this emotional story from women's football. The 2023 World Cup, and in the round of 16, Nigeria played against England. It went to penalties.
Celebrations, another here.
England celebrated. Nigeria was devastated. But then a truly great moment as 3 England players went over to console the Nigerian goalkeeper and asked the camera to move aside.
Another dramatic penalty shootout in this wonderful...
And speaking of fair play, here's one of the best fair play moments I've ever seen. Atalanta against Torino. Belotti went to the ground, the referee blew for a foul and wanted to give a yellow card. But Belotti said no, it wasn't a foul, and hence there was no yellow card, and instead of a free kick, it was referee ball, which Belotti fairly passed back to the opponent. Our number 5 was a truly heartwarming moment from Serie A. Roma played against Udinese, but then a terrifying moment. Pleendika went down after feeling chest pains. He was stretchered off the field and taken straight to the hospital, and the teams agreed to suspend the game and resume it on another day. And what did the Roma players do? They went all to the hospital and waited outside the entrance for good news about the player. And then the news came. He was okay and he was able to leave the hospital the next day. Our number 4, a moment where a football player saved his opponent from a severe injury. Levy grabbed the opponent at the last moment to prevent him from landing on his head, and his opponent was visibly grateful. That's how it should be, hard fighting on the pitch, but fair. Just like this moment from a player who had already stood out for his fair play, Miro Klose. In the Lazio vs Napoli game in 2012, there was a corner in the 4th minute. Goal for Lazio. It was 1-0. The player celebrated, but Klose went to the referee and said, hey, it wasn't a goal. The ball went in after it touched my hand. A great gesture for which his opponents thanked him, and don't forget, it would have been the lead for Lazio. But our number 2 was also one of the fairest scenes I've ever seen. In 2021, towards the end of the season, Mainz played against Cologne. Both teams were fighting against relegation. Mainz secured a 3-2 win at the last moment, which meant Cologne would need some serious luck not to be relegated. The Cologne players were devastated, and then a really classy moment. Instead of celebrating, 2 Mainz players took care of their opponents.
The team they're fighting against for the relegation, and they're still picking them off the ground, and it's great sportsmanship.
And our number 1, the Iranian player thought the halftime whistle had been blown and picked up the ball with his hands, but the whistle blow came from the fans. And what did the Danish player Vikos do? He shot the penalty far wide off the goal, and Denmark lost the match in the end, but Vikos was awarded the Fair Play Award by the Olympic Committee that year. And if you want to see moments where fans went too far, hey, then check out this video.